Hello guys, I'm Tommy and today I'm going to talk about veggies, tubers and fruits. This group is very interesting. They have similar properties and that's why I grouped them together. As in the other videos, I'm going to explain to you one by one so we can see the differences and similarities there are between them. Let's go. Okay, so veggies, tubers and fruits. Very similar with high amounts of water in all of them. This group is high in water. They change in sugar and starch content. Very important for vitamins and minerals. Yes, especially veggies and fruits. Tubers, having starch, contain proteins. If there is no starch, we need to talk about nitrogen compounds. We cannot say proteins. This happens only in vegetables. Because veggies and fruits don't have significant amounts of starch, we're going to talk about nitrogen compounds instead of proteins. Sulfuric compounds and oxalates are some antinutrients of veggies. Vitamin K is an anticoagulant and it's a problem for some people. And we are going to see that some veggies are very high in vitamin K. Let's begin with veggies. Classification: greens, vegetables and legumes. Okay, here we have to make a distinction. Greens are basically the plants that are edible. The vegetables are the part of that plant that we eat. And the legumes are those veggies that come from a legume plant. The classification of veggies can be done by biology, botanic indeed, and we have bulbs, cabbage, fruits, leaves, inflorescence, green legumes, as I told you, pepponids, roots, and young stems. Then we can classify veggies as fresh, dried, dehydrated, or frozen, and by categories, the extra, category 1, 2, and 3. Consumption in Spain, 64 kilograms per individual per year. Composition, water, 85 to 95%, so as you can see, it's pretty much water. Fats, less than 0.2, less than 0.3. Why? Because fats are only present in seeds. So only a few of these will have seeds and will have fats. Carbs, 3 to 10%. Less than 2% is starch. And less than 5 is sugar. And the rest are oligosaccharides. Fiber, 1 to 3%, and this is a classic fiber, where the insoluble is more than the soluble. But wait a minute, they say that veggies are a good source of fiber. Well, it's partially true. Why? Because they have very low amounts of fiber, but as we eat them in high amounts, then they can become a source of fiber. Proteins. We cannot say proteins, as I told you. Nitrogen compounds from 1 to 5%. And the non-proteinic amino acids are present, as well as the amines. Proteins are the 35 to 80% of that 1 to 5%. Vitamins. A lot of vitamins. From group B, the vitamin C, vitamin K, vitamin E and provitamin A. Minerals, the potassium, the phosphorus, the magnesium, the calcium, as well as some iron, zinc, manganese and copper, and they have antinutrients like the oxalates. Byproducts, dried, frozen, fermented, canned, in vinegar, salted, juices, powdered or puree. We have as well as pickles, sauerkraut and extracts. Moving on, we have the tubers, which can be classified into potato, sweet potato, yucca, yam, and tiger nuts. The majority of tubers are fresh and they can be classified by quality, the ordinary, the quality, and the peeled. Then we have classification based on where they're coming from. Imported, they can be old or new, which means they have been imported recently and these have been imported a long time ago. They have been introduced or local. Consumption, well, 32 kilograms per person per year in Spain. Composition, 77 to 82% of water. And here you have 70 to 75. Okay, this number is for sweet potato and this is for normal potato. They both have less than 0.5% of fat. The carbohydrates are 13 to 18% and the majority is starch. And in the case of the sweet potato, we have 20 to 25 and there is a little bit of more sugar to it. Fiber, we have 1.5 to 2 and in the sweet potato we have 3 to 4.5. In proteins, here we can say proteins, 1.5 to 2.5% and the same for the sweet potato. In terms of vitamins, group B mainly, and then vitamin C and provitamin A. In the case of the sweet potato we have less vitamin C. Minerals, potassium, phosphorus, magnesium and calcium, as well as iron, zinc, manganese and copper. And there is more iron in the sweet potato. Indeed, we can reach 2 milligrams. Byproducts of tubers: the preserved, the dehydrated and the frozen. And then the junk ones: the fried, the flours, the starch additive, the granules and flakes. Talking about fruits, we have a pretty deep classification in terms of botanical classification. We have the drupe, the knob, the berry, the peponid, the hesperidium, the polydrupe, the seconium and the sorces. Then fruits can be pulpy, dry and oleaginous, and they can be found as fresh, dry, dehydrated or frozen. We can classify them by category. We have the extra, the category 1, 2 and 3. Fruits can be climateric or not, and tropical or not. Climateric means that they produce ethanol when they mature. Consumption of fruits: 99 kilos and 8 liters as juices. Content of water: 85 to 95% and a little bit less in bananas, figs and the guava. Quantities of fats: less than 0.5% and in case of avocado and olives, of course, it's more, 15 to 30, and in the coconut it raises to 30 and 40%. The carbohydrates, we have 5 to 18% and we have of course more in bananas and figs, coming from sugars mainly. And the fiber, we have from 1 to 3% and we have here more soluble fiber than insoluble. This is interesting. As nitrogen compounds, we cannot say proteins here, 0.5 to 1.5%, and of that percentage 35 to 75% are proteins. The rest are non-proteinic amino acids and amines. In terms of vitamins, well, a lot of vitamins. Group B, very high amounts of vitamin C, vitamin K, vitamin E and provitamin A. The minerals are the potassium, the phosphorus, the magnesium, and then some iron, zinc and manganese. Then we have the byproducts. We can have fruits in syrup, compotes, purees, candied fruit, glazed fruit, marmalade, jam and jelly. And then as juices, we have fresh juices, natural juices, preserved juices and nectars. And then if we can consider the tomato as a fruit, tomato juice, concentrated, tomato sauce and ketchup. Okay, so in here I have to say that glazed fruit comes from the candied fruit. And then the marmalade and the jam are very similar, but one is heterogeneous and the other one is homogeneous. In one we can see the small parts of fruit, and in the other is fully homogeneous, we cannot differentiate parts. And then in juices, a fresh juice is the one you get, for example, in an auto. When you do a juice at the moment, that's the fresh juice. A natural juice is a fresh juice with physical conservation method, and a preserved juice is a natural juice with a chemical preservation method. So indeed, preserved juice have both physical and chemical conservation and preservation methods. Nectars are made with added sugar, a lot of sugar, and as well as ketchup that comes from the concentrated of the tomato. Fine, this group is done. I hope you liked how we saw the differences and similarities between the veggies, the fruits and the tubers. Like this video, subscribe if you're new, comment down below if you have any doubts, download this diagram, I will leave it down in the description. It's free, it's on my website. And share this video to friends and family to spread this message, and I see you on the next one.